What's up, guys? It's Kian here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you another one of the 10 commandments that I have chosen and decided to live my life by. So you may be wondering, okay, well, what is a commandment? Well, a commandment to me is a moral obligation or principle that I choose to live my life by. And whenever I am questioning myself and whenever I'm experiencing fear or doubt, I like to go back to these commandments that I've created for myself for me to recognize and realize who I am and how I live my life. So another of the commandments that I'm going to be covering today is thou shalt embrace individuality and not follow the crowd. And for me, this has kind of always just been a natural way of being. I've never really followed the path that everybody else likes to take. I like to take a different route, hence why I'm living in Medellin, Colombia right now. Now, I'm a small town kid from South Dakota in the United States. For people out there that are watching this are not from the U.S., or you may be from the U.S., you might not have even heard of South Dakota or familiar with where it's at, but it's a conservative spot in the middle of America that is much, much different than South America. So I've chosen to live here. I've lived in Miami. I've done a lot of different things that most people where I'm from don't necessarily do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do things differently than most people. And I feel like it's very, very important to do because with myself, I've always had to drive for more and to accomplish more than where I currently am. And I like to listen to that. So when I have a pull to go somewhere, or when I have a desire to do something or accomplish something, I think it's very, very, very important to be able to listen to that and recognize that if I want the world to be able to see the gifts that I have, I can't do what everybody else is doing because I'm not like anybody else, and you're not either, right? You're yourself, you're your own individual person, and it's a lot easier to be able to fall in line with what the crowd does or what everybody else does because of something we call FOMO, or fear of missing out in some way, which, I experience a massive element of that as well in my life. But it's very important to recognize, okay, am I doing this because other people want me to do this? Or am I doing this because I'm afraid of missing out? Or am I afraid of really becoming who I'm meant to become? Is that why I'm following the crowd? Is that why I'm doing what everybody else is doing? Or is it because you actually want to do what other people are doing? So in every action that you really partake in or question if you should do, you should first decide, hey, am I doing this because I genuinely want to do this? Or am I doing this because other people want me to do this? Or am I doing this because I feel that I should do this to fit in? And recognize that if you continually compromise what it is that you want to do for the crowd mentality, you will live a very unfulfilled life. And I can promise you that. Even when I start to feel myself start to fall into the FOMO, the fear of missing out, and start to do things because I feel like I don't want to miss out, I start to actually lose touch with myself and I start to feel anxious. And I can imagine if you've never really listened to yourself and never really followed through with what it is that you want and always did things for other people and always did what the crowd did, it's going to be very, very hard to actually have a good relationship with yourself and not experience anxiety in some way. A lot of anxiety stems from following the crowd as well because you're not doing what you know you are supposed to do. And a lot of that comes from a place of fear, right? We tend to not do the things we're supposed to do and not embrace our individuality because of fear in some way, a fear of failure, a fear of not being accepted. So a fear in some way. So I think it's really, really important to be able to look at decisions that you're making and thinking about making for yourself and questioning why you're not doing it. Okay, am I not doing this because of a fear? Am I not doing this because I'm afraid of being rejected? Am I not doing this because I feel like I'm not going to be able to make money or I'm not going to be able to be happy? But it's really, really important to be able to identify the reasons why you're not doing the things you know you're meant to do outside of what the crowd is doing. Because, like I've said before, it is so easy to fall into the path of what the crowd is doing, what everybody else is doing, but you will never find fulfillment in that. You will never, ever find fulfillment in that until you embrace what it is that you truly want to do, and you begin to take steps and strides towards embracing your individuality and embracing your own path outside of what other people are doing. So hopefully, guys, you gained a little bit of understanding into this amendment and why I believe it's so important that thou shalt embrace your individuality and not follow the crowd. So I'll see you guys in the next video.